Welcome to week 2. If you've gotten through week 1, congratulations. I know it wasn't a ton of things to do, but week 1 is the underlying structure that develops your context. Once you have done all those activities under week 1 in the 2 days that we gave you to do it, you're going to be able to be ready for week 2. And this is my note sheet. This isn't something that you have, but these are things that we're going to walk you through in the next segment here for the week 2 video. Eventually, you're going to get an asset map made. You're going to create a video. You're going to create an interview with 3 people at least, and you're going to use the community Q&A that we provided. You can add to it, and change it. You're going to reflect on those things in the document that we were working on called Notes for Action Plan, and then you're going to write a position statement and get ready to pick a topic. So let's go through that real quick. Week 2, input. It requires listening to your community and thinking about the needs of the people. Remember, when you did the S in SMART goals, it was specific, was where you needed to start. In order to have a target and determine what specific efforts will be your project's details, or how you explain your project to other people, you have to first become aware of what those needs are and create this plan around the needs and target those things specifically. For the notebook, you're going to want a notebook that you can use when you interview people. That's going to be your screen break for day 1. So when you go through the first few slides, it tells you how to start your interviews, go through them, and then when you get the daily map for week 2, day 1, there's an SEL activity as we showed you in week 1. You click on it, you go do that, you click again, and at the bottom, and it brings you back. So those are all linked in this slideshow. When I go there, it takes me here, I click here, and then I'm back on the daily map again. Create your own copy of the Q&A, community Q&A, and you can change it around a little bit, use that to get some ideas. This is a page from the University of Kansas Community Toolbox on interviewing, and also how to assess community needs and resources. So that's an important one to go to. I would open that and read it. And then also the activity close-up is here. Reflect and make notes in your action plan, in the notes for action plan. So you don't really need to make notes here. This is kind of reviewing and telling you, yes, make sure you do this. When you're done, you'll be able to do more. So what we're going to do then is, this is day 1, right? You can see that on the Tell Me More slides, on the activity close-up slides. What we want to do is, so pretend you did your interviews, right? You're taking your notes in the Notes for Action Plan under week 2, right here. And these are the questions that you would answer to review, to reflect. You may need to make another slide, make the print smaller if it's not fitting. But you're going to be the editor of this, so sometimes you can just blow this this box because you're not really going to be in present mode on this. You can always move this out, which will give you more room to type in here when you need to. So I want you to answer these questions when you're done with your interviews, and that will be meaningful, hopefully. I am not doing that to the master slide though, but that's a suggestion for you guys. And then, so that concludes day 1. I'm going to go back to week 2, day 1. So then we go to the next slide, which is day 2. SEL activity, notes for action plan. So I want you to stay on the same notes for action plan that you opened. I don't want you to have more than one of these. That would be really confusing. This is actually designed to go through all the weeks. So week 2 is in here, week 3 is in here. I'm kind of jumping around, but you need to stay in this one file. This is supposed to be kind of like your notebook for the entire project, okay? Just so that that's clear. So day 2, you'll notice it's only 55 minutes. Day 1 was an hour and 40. It's a little long because you're interviewing your people for 45 minutes. But when you're in day 2, it's just a little shorter. You're reflecting, and you're making an asset map. And so the asset map, you can make a copy of it, there's a couple ways to do these things. You can either open this PDF, actually it's a PNG, I guess. You can print it out, make a copy of it, or you could just go to the Notes for Action Plan. We put it on a slide right here. And when you zoom in, on that slide, you'll be able to see a little bit better how big. Well, you'll be able to see it'll be a little bit larger. You can also do what I was doing before if you want and stretch it out because you're in edit mode. Just make sure if you stretch it out, you can still see it and read it. And you're trying to make sure to follow the directions. So don't extend it out to where you can't read the directions. But some of the directions you could find here, use the learning that this is all taken from the in-depth slide, which I believe is, where are we? Day 2, right? You may not need to do this. This is optional, this identity chart. I put that in there in case you want to do that. This is a video you can watch on asset mapping before you start. I would suggest doing that. We're in day 2. And then this is making your own copy. And then these are things to think about. If you haven't watched the University of Kansas video, it's linked here again. And so that's day 2. Not a ton to do on day 3, but we're gonna go there in a sec. So when you're here and you do your map, think about the people, the groups, the physical layout of your town. That's going to help you figure out the talent. That's going to help you harness that talent. If you're going to be successful, and I hope that I was successful in my bike tour, I had to work together with community volunteers. I had to work together with people that were going to work to keep the roads safe for the bikers, people on bicycles. And that involved quite a bit of careful planning. So before you get to the careful planning part, you want to say, who are the people in the town that are going to help me with my action? So think about that stuff. As you get into day 3, there's some things to do in the notes. There's some things to review in the notes. When you get to day 4, in the notes for action plan, you're still going to need to be looking at the day at a glance in the daily map. And it's broken down into times again for day 3. You're going to create a position statement. So there's a video on doing it, and there's directions. These directions are pretty solid, and it's 1 page. So it's just an arguable viewpoint that you're going to put together, and you're going to put that on your slide. Right. Well, let's see. I've got ahead of myself. Position statement draft. So you're going to write that right in here in the notes. What have you been interested in? What are the things in the community that are helpful? And I keep telling you, the targeted action to address a defined need. That's just going to keep it simple. It's not about the people that you're trying to change. It's about the action that you're hoping is going to make your community stronger. So as you get through week 2, and we're almost done, you're going to go into week 2, day 4, which is going to help you pick a topic. So as you go and it says, tell me more about choosing a topic, it's going to bring you to the slide in this slide deck that shows you the 6 areas that I think are meaningful. You might have something that falls outside this that you want to use, and that's fine. But it gives you a little bit more detail about those different topics, so you can pick one that's really important to you. And that's pretty much it for week 2. You're just going to need to check back in on the notes for action plan slide, make sure you completed everything, and you picked a topic, and you'll write that chosen topic there.